Welcome to the second part of our tutorial. I'm going to start using the middling paints now, the medium ranges. We'll start with the hood, and I don't want to paint the entire thing. I just want to try and pick out now some of the creases and the highlights, but there's another colour going to go on here, an even lighter colour, so I don't want to be too careful, and I'm really just really sort of hitting it as if the light's hitting it in a very random way, also looking to correct any mistakes I might have made, perhaps bits where I missed the paint completely or where I've smudged with another colour, and that's it. Just I missed a little bit on the top. I'll just give him a little blob there on the top, and that's the paint. When you come to do the flesh, which is what I'm going to do next, I pick out the highlight areas. So I've got the nose and the cheeks. I'm going to leave the eyes. We're going to do a tutorial on faces later on, but just for now this chap's going to have just dark where his eyes were, and again I'm going to go just over his fingers on the back of his hand. The difference between the dark and this medium is almost imperceptible, but it makes a big difference when you come to do the next colour. You can't see his chin, you can't see his forehead, but what I'd normally do is a T, the forehead and the nose, the chin and the cheeks. There he is. I'm doing the hair now, and I've decided to make him into a redhead, and I've got the dark on, and I'm not going to paint the whole thing again dark. I'm just going to dot it to let the light shine through. I want the dark still to be there. I want these to be the highlights. I'm smudged on his hat there, not being very careful, but I've got another colour to come on yet, so I don't mind, it doesn't matter. Just dab that on, let the dark show through. It's vital that the dark shows through, and there we go. That's the light catching his ginger hair. Working on the tunic, these tend to be the bigger areas, and there are some creases I can see, so what I'll do, I'll just bring the green across the tops of the creases. You need to be a bit careful when you're doing larger areas that you don't leave sort of odd looking stripes, and if you do, all you need to do there is to just go back and just blend them in a little bit. And this isn't dry brushing, this is putting a small amount of paint on and trying to pick out the areas. We'll do a tutorial on dry brushing later. Because this is a very fine brush, it means that I can get above these creases, leave the belt showing, and leave little patches of the dark green. But again, he's meant to be a warrior. He's been in battle, so his clothing's not going to be beautiful and tidy. Let's get round the corner there. This is often the biggest area you have to paint. Nearly done. Let's go around there. A little bit above his sleeves, just where the light's catching. Make sure you leave some of the dark showing through. And you can use your green here to go over perhaps where you might have smudged one of the browns, and that's all of the green tunic starting to come to life now. It doesn't look as flat once you put the medium colours on. Just working on his trousers now. This will be very quick because he's only got one leg yellow and one leg red. So again, I'm looking for, there's a little bit of silver there where I missed it the first time round, so I'll just pop it on there, and I can see I've smudged a little bit of brown on his legs from his boot. Let's take it all the way around, leaving the dark showing through. I don't want it to be too solid, and I'm interested in what it looks like from a distance. I don't want you to necessarily pick the figure up and stare at him. You might find imperfections, but I want you to have an impression of him from a distance as you look down on your table. And that's the yellow. His other leg I've done red. So, exactly the same as we did before, and I think you can see perhaps better on this colour than maybe some of the others, but it really starts to lift him now, and it's very exciting. You've done your undercoat, you've put all your main colours on, you're just picking out these little bits, and it's really satisfying. It's really easy to do, and it absolutely brings your figure to life. And there he is with the first part of his scarlet trousers. And I've got madder red now, and I use this on his sleeves. I mentioned in the last tutorial that it's a great colour for lips especially. It's not as garish, so I'm going to put a little bit of it on his lips. You can't even notice it, but I just felt better doing it. And I'm beginning to notice there's a few places where paint seems to want to come off. I think in the third tutorial, when I do the finishing touches, I might even add a few patches of mended material to this chap. Seems to be suggesting that to me. And there we are with the madder red. So I'm doing his leather now, and I'm catching the light really. I'm looking at his boots. I'm trying to see where the light would hit. I'm also looking at any places where I might have made a mistake or where I might have knocked the paint off. And I just touch these up very, very loosely. This is the light hitting his clothing. I'm not trying to paint it. I'm just trying to hit the light spots. There we are. Now that's that. And I know I've also put a little bit of leather on his bag and on his belt. And I just want the light to catch his belt. And that's all I'm going to do there. Notice that I've missed a couple of little bits. I'll just do them again. And that's the brown leather. The first tutorial, when I painted this dwarf, I didn't really think about his axe. I did it quite quickly. But I've noticed now as I'm painting him that he's actually got some strapping there where he's holding it. So I've added a colour I've not used up to now. This is buff leather. And I'm just going to stick some buff leather on. And because I'm at this stage of doing the medium colours, I'm not doing the shade. I'm just going to do straight into the medium, just to give it something to hold on to. So that's the buff leather. Now I'm going to go straight on now and finish off with his axe. On the axe, the first thing I want to do is just to pick out where the light is hitting the shaft. And this is a colour that Foundry do that's actually called spear shaft. Tells you exactly what you need to know. And I don't paint the entire axe. I tend to paint from the hand up a little bit and from the weapon's blade down a little bit. You've got to be quite loose when you do this, and it gives you a lovely effect. And same there on the top there where the wood comes through, and do you know, a little touch like that can make such a difference. The difference between having the wood there at the top of the axe or just painting it all metal and not thinking about it can make a world of difference to your figure. So that's the wooden part of his axe, and now I'm going to finish off with the metal. And this is the bronze I'm using for his axe. There's all sorts of metal colours you can use, gun metal, but I like the bronze, especially for dwarfs. And what I'm going to do is, I've already put the dark on. This is the medium, and I've got light to come. So I'm going to use the medium now, but I'm only painting certain parts of the axe. I'm leaving a big chunk of it around the haft, the handle, dark, and there's some raised detail which I'm going to pick out with this colour now. I'm going to leave the rest dark. I don't know how well you'll see that, but when the light catches it, you can actually get a little bit of an impression of depth in the metal. And that's the end of the figure for our second coat, and in the third tutorial I'll show you how to finish him off and how to do the base. Hope you've enjoyed it.